Thank you.
there we
Kathleen
go.
Lippett, you are next.
Good evening, Planning Group Chair and committee members. My name is Kathleen Lippett, and I've worked in the city for over 20 years, regularly attending many planning groups to support them and having a voice with their city government. In the RB Poway community where I live, I have supported the RB Planning Group and there for the last 4 years in their efforts to oppose the city's plan to permit urban leaf marijuana outlet in the middle of their downtown. The city's failure to deny the project permit outright for sensitive use violations transferred the city's responsibility to the community. The sensitive user I'm sorry. Okay. The sensitive users involved had to spend hundreds of hours over the years to oppose the project. Guided by the city's municipal codes, the community presumed it was on solid ground in opposing the project, but it hadn't anticipated the city would allow the applicant to circumvent sensitive use distance requirements from the church and its daycare center by constructing a stucco wall to artificially increase the distance setback and block a path of travel that had been used for over 40 years between church attendees and their shopping center with its child-friendly businesses and restaurants. Additionally, there's a residential zone setback was ignored. The residential property owner appealed at the hearing officer that would force him to share his property line with the marijuana outlet. The Planning Commission voted last week to support city staff recommendations to deny the planning group's appeal and the residents' appeal and the community's opposition and the church. They don't have the deep pockets that the marijuana industry profiteers have and are able to protect sensitive uses promised to them by the city. They don't have the city land, they don't have the marijuana land use attorneys, consultants, etc. It's not irrelevant that the city decided to grandfather illegally operating marijuana businesses. And they should have been aware that rewarding such scofflaw practices would likely enable them to be repeated. The precedent that was set will reward by rewarding self-serving exploitations of the city codes that were intended to protect the public and support community priorities will now be used by other marijuana project applicants. Unless the city tightens its municipal codes and holds marijuana applicants firmly to their city municipal codes. Thank you for letting me speak.
Excuse me. Thank you, Kathleen. iPad, I believe that's April Mahoney. You're up next. 3 minutes, please.
Thank you so much for allowing me to join you in your meeting. I am a part of Oak Park, but I want to definitely keep Redwood Village informed as to what's going on. So apparently there is going to be a meeting with the Eastern area and the Planning Commission on phase 2 of Streamview. I adamantly oppose this. Number one, I hear crickets when it comes to phase 1. Richard has been working with some city officials to get funding to implement and incorporate the revisions that I have been vigilantly asking for over a year to phase 1. How can you incorporate a phase 2 if phase 1 is majorly flawed? Apparently there is some money coming from somewhere because the Planning Commission is making revisions to phase 2. Unacceptable. We have not concluded on phase 1. Please be aware and be on guard. Do not go for the same trickery that we got caught up in phase 1. They pushed through plans. They showed us what they wanted us to believe to be true. There is still no verification. This is still a lot of speeding going on. I went to the Eastern area as well as District 9, got a letter of support to go to the city council, to go to our councilwoman and the mayor's office to have this revisited. Please, please, please do not allow this to be pushed through without having all your I's dotted and your T's crossed. This is what happened to us last time. And apparently there's something going on. I don't know what it is, but my intuition, and believe me, I will do a lot deeper dive before I go to the meeting next month. The media has repeatedly contacted me. I do not want to go to them with anything negative. That is not my goal. My goal is to go with a positive response to what's going on. However, nothing. I haven't heard anything from the councilwoman's office, anything from the mayor's office, except for we're still looking for funding. That's unacceptable. Richard and others are going through the Clean California Act to try to get funding for the revision for this thoroughway, to get us some lighting, to get the beautification, to get us some speed bumps. We, as the constituents, are looking for our own funding. There is government money, and we need to find out where that is. We need to find out who's in charge of that before we give a sign off or approval on phase 2. Thank you so much.
Thank you, April. Just to confirm, next month's meeting, they will be here, but it's being presented as an information item only.
Okay, right, information, but be sure that you have all of your questions lined up. Be sure that you go back and you revisit everything. I'm sure that Bruce will keep us informed as to what's going on. I will be talking to other people from the mayor's office. Do not allow them to railroad you once again. Trust me, you will be sorry.
Okay, thank you, April. Mario, you're up.
Yes, hi, thank you very much. I just wanted to thank Jan for her contributions, all the work she's doing. And I see they made it to the television, about the parking situation at the library. I put out a little blurb on TV couple of weeks ago. Anyway, I just had one clarification for Jan, if she's, I don't know if she's still there, but if it's a minister request, is it going back to what it's zoned for as a hotel, or do they want to build apartments? That's kind of a big deal. What are they asking for? Does anybody know?
Both, I believe.
Yeah.
They're gonna do
They're-
both.
Yes. And that's part of the problem, so.
That's interesting. Well, you can't do both with a ministerial permit, I don't think. Anyways, that's all.
Okay, thanks, Mario.
Thank you.
Richard, non-agenda comment?
Yeah, just to follow up on what Mario said or asked, I'm just taking names. Who is the developer for the hotel I think they're apartments next to the library? Who do you know the name of the developer? Anyone?
No.
We'll get
Okay.
it.
Okay, I can do some more research on that. And then for Kathleen Lippett, do we know the name of a group, a business group, I assume, that is pushing this whole cannabis thing? Is it, have they officially come forward and say, yeah, Kathleen, yeah.
They're not, many of the individuals involved in the industry, as far as consultants and land use attorneys, et cetera, are often have been former city employees who had previously developed deep relationships in the city's planning development services department. So there was, for quite some time, we had no idea where the updates to the municipal code amendments, changes of definitions, where they were coming from. And when we finally found out, they disbanded that meeting. That was the technical advisory committee and the code monitoring team. They were both proceeding with meetings where these folks, a lot of the individuals with conflicts of interest, were on those boards. In fact, one of the attorneys told me that she simply wrote up the text and offered it to the committee for changing the code, and they were always in favor of the businesses. So I'm not sure what can be done about it. There's planning commissioners in the past have also gone to work for the industry. So it's a real uphill challenge for the public.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I work for the county,
Yeah.
but it doesn't, yeah, I kind of understand what you're saying, how former workers build relationships, they retire and they become consultants.
Yeah, there should be a 5-year interim where they are not allowed to come back, but it's only a year. So
Okay. All right. Thank you, Kathleen.
that's okay.
Anything else, Richard?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to community reports from our representatives. First up, Sam. Are you still here? Sam has left. Sam Gonzalez. Okay, was here Martha Zapata from District 9. Hi, Martha.
Hello. Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm here in place of Navid, who couldn't be here tonight. The news that I have for you, hold on a second. What I wanted to share with you tonight is about the tenant protection ordinance that is coming to council later this month. We still don't have a date confirmed, but it's coming. And as you probably be aware, that our office is going to introduce the tenants protection ordinance. This ordinance that we're bringing forward is designed to protect tenants from being evicted if they are paying their rent and abiding by the terms of their lease. This ordinance is not protecting people who are not paying the rent or destroying property or any of that. This ordinance is protecting the people who have been living in apartments for years, sometimes even 20 years, and they've been paying the rents on time. Some people might wonder why renters are being evicted if they're paying the rent, but it is happening in San Diego, especially when some landlords see the chance to increase rent by a substantial amount. The council president wants to protect tenants from these needless evictions because it's unfair. It displaces people and families from their communities and puts people at risk of falling into homelessness. Some of the latest numbers show that the last year we replaced nearly 12,000 unsheltered people into housing, but nearly 15,000 fell into homelessness.
Do that.
Soon. Be done.
With
With
with sky rent highs in San Diego, it may cost from $8,000 to $10,000 for people to find a new apartment and pay first rent, last month's rent, security deposit, and moving costs. So it's really, really expensive. The large cost of getting evicted puts people in danger of being forced into the streets. With our city facing a housing and homelessness crisis, it's incredibly important to make sure we prevent people from becoming homeless. Some of the provisions on this ordinance include restricted guidelines and when landlords can evict people when they are abiding by the terms of their lease. We have seen many cases when landlords evict tenants because they say renovations are needed, but they slap a new coat of paint on the property and then they begin renting their home to someone else for much higher rent. Right now, the landlords can only legally raise the rent by 10% a year. So victim tenants for renovations can allow them to exploit a loophole and raise the rent. We're trying to close those loopholes as much as possible. But there are instances when landlords can terminate a lease. Legitimate renovations to a property are sometimes needed, and sometimes landlords want to rent to their immediate family or take the home of the rental market. This new ordinance will include relocation assistance for tenants, especially those who are at risk of homelessness, like seniors and those with disabilities. And these protections will begin on the first day of being a tenant. Currently, renters do not have basic protections until they live in a home for 2 years. There is much more detail on our website. I will share the link on the chat. We understand that there may be concerns about landlords' properties rights and concerns about their ability to continue stay in business. That is why our office worked with the Southern California Rental Housing Association and California Apartment Association, a group of owners and landlords, to make sure our proposal was developed understanding what possible unintended consequences are and addressing concerns of landlords. The council president is working with members of the community who have been displaced by evictions. He's working with the mayor and the rental housing industry. He's bringing all these people together to create a long-term solution to address our city's housing and homeless crisis. So this, like I mentioned, this is coming to council this week, this month. And if you have any questions, if I don't have the answers with me, I'll be happy to address them with staff and give the information to Lynn so she can share it with you all.
Thank you, Martha. Any questions for Martha? Okay, Martha,
I-
the check. Oh,
I have a
one second.
question, Lynn.
Yeah, Richard, could you wait just one sec? Martha, I've turned chat off tonight. So if you have things filed to drop in, could you just email it to me and I will
yes.
send it out to everyone? Thank you.
Yes, I'll do
Okay,
that. Thank you.
thanks. Thanks, Richard.
Yeah, thank you, Lynn. It's been a long time since I've done housing work, and it was up in LA County. Martha, is there still a what do they call it? A 3-day, even though someone's been paying their rent, the rents are usually, if you don't have a lease or you know, a rental lease or rental agreement, it's a month-to-month basis, and a landlord can give a tenant a 3-day notice to vacate.
To vacate.
Mm-hmm. Is that still in California, or do you know, or?
You know, as of now, yes, it is. And you know what, I'm gonna take that question down, Richard, and I make sure that that is being addressed on this new ordinance.
Isn't the 3-day to vacate only for non-payment of rent?
Yes, and let me add something to that, because we used to have to advise renters up in LA County all the time, is that pay by personal check, have some proof of payment. Even something as simple as a money order, and keep a stub, because some of the property managers only accepted cash rent. That's in LA. I don't know about San Diego. And that's where we found a lot of trouble, because we have people that were living there, and you know, they're paying their rent cash. They have all sorts of problems, and once they start complaining to the health department, 3 days, you're out. And then we go and we talk to the property manager. They haven't been paying their rent. There's no proof of payment. So that's kind of, I hope that doesn't happen down here in San Diego, but I just wanted to bring that up. But Lorna is right that, you know, they claim that there's no payment of rent, and then they do the 3-day on them.
It is my understanding that part of this new ordinance, I was not the policy writer on this, but it is my understanding that now with this if this new ordinance passes, the landlord has to have a proof. If he says, I'm going to be renovating this complex, they have to have the proof and the way of permits already signed by the city. And because sometimes they say we're going to renovate it, they don't. But now they're going to go that extra insurance. Now, with the question that you're asking, Richard, I know that was going on in the like in the 90s or before, but I believe, or I hope, renters are a little more savvy than paying in rent. I back in the day, I know there was a lot of cash exchange and a lot of people got abused by that. And another things that we're trying to protect the residents, the tenants, is when they call compliance for bad situations in their apartments. That's the first thing that the landlord does, right? They ask them to leave and they have no protection. And this is one of the problems that we have a lot, not only in City Heights, but in other areas, part of San Diego. And that's another thing that we're trying to protect them, so they can feel comfortable and safe of reaching out to call compliance and not get retaliation by the landlords. But those are just a few things of the big protections that we're trying to do. Some of these protections, I believe the city of Chula Vista already has, that they need to, some of them is that if I ask my tenant to leave, I need to find housing for them, or I need to give them so much, I don't know, it's 1 or 2 months rent so they can find it on their own. So some of these things are already happening in other cities, but San Diego it has been a very difficult process. But I will find out that question, Richard, so you'll have the answer.
Okay. Thank you, Martha. April, did you have a question for Martha? April, you're muted. Okay, gonna move on. Thank you very much, Martha. Next up is Bruce Williams from City Council President Pro Tem Monica Montgomery Stepp's office. Thank you, Bruce. Thanks for being patient on what's an interesting night.
We've got a great group of people here. Honored to be able to serve you.
Thank you.
Greetings, Bruce Williams, representing Council President Pro Tem Monica Montgomery Stepp. I have a newsletter for those folks that are here. But I'll just share some of the highlights from the newsletter for those folks that are out in virtual land. Couple of things I just want to share. We always want to remind the folks in the 4th District that office hours are available. If you desire to meet with the council president, please do so. So now that COVID is over, we're doing it in person. We're doing it virtually or over the phone. So generally our meetings are on Fridays between 1:30 and 4. And we can give you, council can give you 20 to 30 minutes max, but we welcome you to come or call her or contact her. You can phone and set something up with Stephanie, 619-236-6644, and we'll set something up for you. Okay, and also we always want to encourage folks to use the Get It Done app. And if you have any challenges with Get It Done, try to give them 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks, a month or so. But if not, send our office the report number and we can try to get to know. Okay, it's important. And in District 4, we're not doing as many as other districts. So let's get up. Let's work on making a difference by using the Get It Done app. A couple of other things. Last month, the council member, along with Vivian Moreno, brought forth an ordinance, and the council approved it to officially recognize as a holiday Juneteenth, which is June the 16th. As you know, that was the day that the state of Texas decided that they would realize that slavery was over. And so that ended slavery in the United States. And so that is being recognized. Also, on the front of our newsletter, the council member has a photo with a great lady in District 4, and that is Miss Claudia Thompson. She's done some great things in our community, and she was acknowledged as a woman of distinction. The council member salutes her for that. Also, we want to recognize Miss Pat Bevelin of Oak Park, who is been appointed to the City of San Diego's Library Commission. And so we're wishing her well on that. For those of you that are interested in obtaining funding from the council members' community projects and programs and services fund, we're asking folks to come to the Skyline Hills Library on May the 2nd from 6 to 7 p.m. so that you can ask questions about how to apply for these funds. Sometimes they go from $2,500 to $5,000. So they're not huge sums of money, but for a small organization, a nonprofit, or something that that can, perhaps help with your community organization, it would not be a bad thing to apply for that. So again, that's May the 2nd from 6 to 7 p.m. And, one of our signature things to do in the 4th District is our cleanup days. So we're having another one, and that one's going to be here in our area. We're calling them bulky item drop-off events now instead of dumpster days. I guess that sounds better. It's going to be on Saturday, May the 13th from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. And it's going to take place over on the College Grove Drive, which is what is the, let's see, College Grove Drive.
Gloria
That's at the lake. The College Grove
Choice Lake.
Choice. Thank you. Glorious Mesa, right there. We've had some really successful events there. So please share that information with your neighbors. We're trying to keep our district clean, and we hope that you can participate. That's all I have at the moment. If there are any questions, I know that I need to take some rides through Webster and Oak Park and Ridgeview. So I'm a little behind on that. So if there are some items that need some attention, you can let me know now. That's all I have. Thank you for your.
Thank you, Bruce, very much. Any questions for Bruce, Richard?
Yeah, hi, Bruce. I'm glad you mentioned Ridgeview because they're now part of D4 and we are trying to make contact with folks in Ridgeview.
Yes. Ridgeview, they meet
Any contact?
every 3 months, yeah. And the Randants are in charge of that group over there, and I'll try to get you that contact information. I'll send you the contact information.
What was the
Thank you, I
date
appreciate it.
again for the cleanup?
Thank you.
The date for the cleanup is Saturday, May the 13th from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at the Choice Lake Park, Glorious Mesa parking lot.
Great. And I believe Martha has a question for you about that date, because there's also supposed to be a hazardous waste cleanup at
Yeah.
Choya's service yard the same day.
That's right.
Perfect.
At the
timing.
Choice Operation Yard.
Yes.
We're kind of coordinating things. Thank you, Martha. We will be encouraging folks to, it says here, protect the storm drains, take the last step, recycle the last drop. So if you want to take those items, you can also do that. Just go across the street to the yard, the Choice yard, and you can get rid of those items there. Thank you, Martha.
Sure. Yeah, I just want to make sure, share real quick, and if you may, this is a partnership effort with partnering with D4 and this cleanup. It's also a, which is kind of confusing, there is also a oil toxic stuff recycling the same day at the Choyas Operation Yard on 2797 Caminito Choyas. It's going to be the same day, the same time, but two different events going at different addresses. So that was a bit confusing. So I will be sending Lynn the flyers. Some of you're probably going to be getting them at your homes because we're going to be flyering the week before the event. But I will send the information to Lynn so she can share it with you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Martha. Thank you, Bruce.
Thank you.
Yeah, any other questions for Bruce before we move on? Okay. Thanks, Sue. Bypassing the action item and moving on to a discussion tonight. It's sort of a very preliminary step, and I'm going to let Laura start. But it's really, all of us should start to think about the community plan update and what that's going to mean to our communities, because even though there's a subcommittee here, we need to hear from all of the communities, and we need to make sure that everybody does the best job we can for our communities on the update. We should all get something out of it if we like. Not be upset.
I gave everybody here some handouts, and on the first page, and these are from our community plan, our current community plan, as well as some pages from college area community plan, just so you can see a few things that have gone on with their update. And the grid zoning maps from the city of San Diego. This is their official zoning maps. So those are the things we're kind of walk through, and it's just preliminary. But we had our first subcommittee meeting and realized that we need to get all of our different areas in Eastern area involved, and have us know that we are only one of 4 communities in the Mid-City Community Plan, which is going to all be updated together. So the first page is the current zoning, well, the past zoning for our community. And you can see there's everything from single family residential, from 1 to 5 dwelling units per acre, and 6 to 10, which makes up the biggest part of our community plan. It's all the white areas with all the little roads in them where our homes are. And then there's park areas and higher density areas. And up at Choice Triangle, this was updated from the original Mid-City Community Plan because it shows the Choice Triangle, what do they call it? Neighborhood Village Plan. So that's got a different grid up there. So this is what the plan was before all of the new planning that Todd Gloria has been working on, and the college area community update. So the next page shows you all of our communities. We're number D, which is Eastern area. And we all together, A, B, C, and D, which is Normal Heights, Kensington, Talmadge, City Heights, and Eastern area, we are all together in one community plan. So it's most likely that the city's going to update us all together. They've always considered us one community plan, even though in the past we tried to break out, because Eastern area all by itself is a large area, but they've always kept us together. So we can pretty well expect that they're going to keep us together for the plan update. And the common corridors are going to be University and El Cajon Boulevard going east and west. And then the different main streets like Euclid, 54, some of the main streets going down into the communities will also be probably considered corridors. The next page just shows the conceptual land uses at a quick glance without going into detail of zoning, where you have your single family areas that are conserved, the multifamily areas, and the mixed use areas. Now, like I said, these are all from our current community plan, and we're expecting the plan update within the next few years to at least start. One of the things that was said at a meeting I went to recently was the city is working on expediting all community plans because there is so much change to all of the zoning in the city, that they want to get the community plans updated to pretty much match the zoning that's going on. So we can expect to see something somewhat soon. The next page is just the outline of the Toy's triangle and how you can see it used to talk about how buildings were going to be 1 and 3 stories tall. And then there was a section for mid-rise, which were going to be 4 and 5 stories tall, because those were lower on the grade than the ones along University. So they could be taller without overwhelming the area. But as you know, with all the changes to regarding the transportation overlay and now the all the new housing 2.0 plan that's coming forth, there's almost unlimited height limits. So a lot of the height limits that you see are going to not necessarily be what we get. The next page is a page from the college area community plan as it exists now, because they haven't got their update completed. And you can see that by and large, all the light area is residential homes, like our area. We have by and large a lot of residential homes. And one of the maps that was handed out during the college area update was this one that shows smart growth zoning. And you can see both sides of El Cajon Boulevard were included in that map. So what they are proposing to happen on the north side of El Cajon Boulevard could easily carry and be flipped onto the south side of El Cajon Boulevard. And we could expect somewhat similar patterns on University and down maybe 54th Street, different major thoroughfares in our communities. The next ones are just what we are now, the zoning that's still considered the official zoning map on the city. And we're on 2 grid pages. We're on grid page 20 and grid page 16. And once again, all the yellow is our single family residential, and all the orange zones are commercial or mixed use. And there's different densities and intensities along there currently, but those are all being challenged by all the new planning that's gone on in the last few years since Todd Gloria's been in office. And finally, there is a page that shows you 2 maps side by side. The map on the right side is what the college area community worked on for many years. I think they were meeting for 2 or 3 years, working on where zoning should go in their community. And when Sandag came out with new numbers on expected population growth, they went ahead and reconfigured a little bit to make their numbers actually exceed what was expected from the Sandag numbers. The state of California goes through every, I don't know how, it was more than 10 years, but they had a series 13 plan numbers that were in effect for a long time, and they were very high based on what growth was years ago. Well, growth has dropped. And so the state of California has come out with new numbers, and Sandag developed a series 14 set of numbers based on the state's numbers. And they went into effect, I believe, January of 2022. And so the numbers have been around for a long time. The city's planning department really doesn't want to take those new numbers into effect much. They want to try and stay with the old high numbers, which is really forcing a huge difference between what the current numbers by all the experts are for the state and Sandag versus what our planning department's pushing. So you can see the scenario that the subcommittee, after working for 2 to 3 years, came out with the diagram on the right, which shows the light yellow is mostly the single family residential, and the browns and the oranges are higher density. And they estimated the population increase of the homes would increase by 2,763. On the right side is the city's numbers, and I'm sorry, the left side, thank you. The left side, and their numbers are 18,316, which is a huge difference. I mean, extraordinary difference. And then you can also look at the map and see the where the push is for all the density. And so it's pretty, and then this still isn't complete because they haven't taken Housing 2.0 and what's called Blueprint San Diego into account yet. So those things are still up in the air and could actually change this format. This is the proposed at this point, and this is the proposed by the community at this point. We could expect to see, right now, I believe Eastern area has about 38,000 people in it and roughly 12,000 homes. And with increases that are similar to what the planning department shows, we could be looking at an increase to 76,000 people from 38,000 to, well, actually more than that, probably closer to 80,000 people wise. And units would go from roughly 12,000 to probably close to 40,000 based on what the city's done with the college area. That's huge. I mean, that's gigantic. So, and that's just Eastern area. It's not even all of the mid-city community. So we want everybody in this group to start engaging your neighborhoods and talk about where we have densities now and where we want densities to go. This last page where you see where the city was coming up with different densities, they go way into the blocks, they go blocks deep into single family residential homes and create buildings that are 3, 4, 5 stories tall. And they just blanket rezone those areas, and then somebody can come in and you can have your little single family residential home, and the next lot could be something that's and another thing is the transit overlay zone, which gives huge heights, huge FAR, floor area ratio. Yeah, floor area ratios. You can get so many people in it. And plus, they're saying that because it's by a transit zone, you don't necessarily have to include parking. And I will challenge anybody to drive down your street and try and find a lot of parking availability. So if there's not going to be parking requirements for a lot of these apartments or condos or whatever goes in, you know, people could be forced to park 8 blocks away. They're doing it right now in Little Italy. People tell me, oh yeah, I park 5 blocks away sometimes. So they're not happy about it, but anyway, these things are things that we need to start having discussions in our communities now, because this is going to happen quicker than you think. And we need to make sure, you know, one of the things that's come up in the college area is a lot of the building, because it's in certain zones, like the transit overlay zone and different things, there's a lot of impact fees being waived. So we're not getting financing for infrastructure. We're not getting financing for parks. And yet you look, and our area is very deficient in parks. All of Mid-City is. All the different communities are very deficient in parks. And the college area did not come up with a plan for parks. So we need you to engage your own community, start talking about where would be logical for this development to go, and then not be surprised when we start working with the city and it comes back at higher and into your community more than you would think. So, well, I don't know what right now, these 2 scenarios are in front of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission are all appointed by the mayor. They serve at his pleasure. And a lot of them are in the development industry. Some are even developers. So what their focus is and what us as residents and wanting to have neighborhoods to live in, what our focus is, meet head to head. So we don't know what's going to be what college area is going to end up like, but it could have some foreshadowing on what ours is going to look like. One thing that also comes into play is all the overlay zones for transit that let the developers go into your community. are now a mile. So there isn't anywhere in our communities that doesn't have access, doesn't give access to developers to go into wherever it wants to go. One thing that is kind of interesting though is in Eastern area, many of our streets end at canyons. We're not like City Heights or well, part of Talmadge and Kensington and Normal Heights as well. They have streets that go all the way east and west and all the way north and south. Many of our streets end in cul-de-sacs or short little streets because we have so many canyons. So that could help or not. I'm not sure.
Build in the
And
canyon.
pardon me?
They can build in the canyon.
They could. There's actually as long as you shore up and do all the right I forget what they call it when you put up walls and stuff.
Retaining
Fill
walls.
in the can.
Fill, oh yeah, infill. There you go, infill. So Danielle,
Okay, so earlier you mentioned that the subsidy on net, did you mean just for Eastern or did you mean all 4 communities?
no, just Eastern, but I've talked to David Modi, who's been working with getting all the 4 communities working together. And he said that we want to definitely be working together too,
Okay,
as
so-
all 4 communities.
So, once you do all 4 get together, could you please ask them if they're gonna use the Sandag 14 numbers?
Oh, he's well aware of 14, the series
Just ask if
14.
He was aware of it. I was gonna ask if all 4 communities would push to use the 14 numbers and not the 13 Sandag numbers.
Sure.
And then could you ask them to make sure that the SDA's in there, not the TPAs, because you were talking about TPAs, but those are already extinct.
Well, the SDAs are where you get into you can go anywhere in the neighborhood.
Yeah. Right, a mile. So
Right.
that's gonna be a huge impact for, everybody.
Well,
It's
for us,
20 years since we've, updated this, and we've already gone through the TPAs, and those are already extinct, and now we're into the SDA, so gotta make sure those are in there to have those concentric circles showing where your mile is from.
well, the city's not even done with housing 2.0 or the blueprint plan right now. And they've said that they're not even going to take any of these community plans. There's a number of community plans that are in the works right now. They're not taking any of them forward until they finish blueprint. So we don't even know that SDAs are where we end. We could end up with something different.
We could, if it takes, 5 more years, they could have SDA.
Well, I think blueprint's going to come out faster than that.
Okay.
They're pushing hard.
And then the last one is, could you ask our city planners how they're gonna backfill all the money that's being taken away from the TIF fees that are not being imposed?
Sure. Be happy to ask that.
Yeah.
We all want to know.
I asked Mark and Rick and their answer was, we'll just see how it all plays out. I said, well,
I think that's going to be close to what we get.
what a great plan. Yeah, we're gonna take away all these impact fees for the impacts we're putting into your neighborhood, and we're not gonna make them pay the impact fees, but where's all the money gonna come from to pay for the impact?
Well, one thing I want to say is, I don't know if anybody noticed, but there was a lawsuit filed by Livable San Diego and against the city for, it was just today that I saw the article and saw a release on this. And I'll send it to Lynn so she can send it out. And it is a lawsuit against the city for not taking into consideration impacts, cumulative impacts, and environmental impact. So those, and you can read the lawsuit, and the attorney, I've looked at him before and his interests, and he seems like a great guy. So be nice to see what happens. And Livable San Diego is chaired by, well, I think chaired, anyway, I don't know it for sure if he's the head person, but Tom Mulvaney, who has been in San Diego planning for years and years and years, is part of that group, if not the head of the group, and he's very good. So we'll see
I'd
what.
like to find out, percentage of how, in just the mid cities, is it like 95% are not gonna have DIP fees anymore versus 5% who are, or, it'd be good to have some kind of a number.
I think it depends on the kind of development, because if you get a lot of ADUs and then you get a lot of apartments, and I don't know. And then if they,
It could be 10% of the land mass.
I know,
We could be losing 10% of our DIP fees.
I know.
Yeah.
So it would be good to see what.
If anybody has calculations, is that what you would like? Okay.
calculations on how
Yeah.
much from, you know, dollar wise and land mass wise.
Um,
So everybody, please make this a topic for your community. We need to get as much community input, you know, even if you can't be on the committee, maybe other people in your community would like to have some input into this and have ideas and want to be part of it. They're welcome to our subcommittee update meeting. Okay, so let your communities know that, get the word out. We want as many people and as many thoughts and as much information that we can pull together so we get a good representation of our whole community. Sound
It's gonna be
good?
publicly noticed.
I
Yeah.
guess they will be, yeah, because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 people on our subcommittee, so yeah.
yes.
And
And
you don't
the,
have your next one scheduled yet.
no,
Pardon me, the next one would be the 20, the last Wednesday of the
last
month
Wednesday of the month.
Okay.
here. You gonna come, Mario?
Oh, if I can.
That would be great. Yes, it would be great.
These aren't Zoom meetings anymore. You got to show up in person, I guess.
Well, these kind of meetings, I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So can I ask a couple questions?
Yep, please.
Okay, so as Danielle's talking about the fees, yeah, we need to know what fees they are collecting, what they aren't collecting, if it's nothing or if they're collecting something. But I think that's another area where a big fight should be. So we should stick our feet in the sand and say, hey, you can't build anymore unless you start putting some of these facilities that aren't even adequate yet. I mean, they've been promising these things for the last 30 years or 40 years, whatever. I mean, you can't just go and add double the population and don't put any of those things in. So until they have some way of building that stuff, they shouldn't be adding these units. Well, we know that, but I know that's not city. But as the discussion of the amongst you guys at the mid-city people and so forth, is there going to be any discussion at all about splitting up, or you just don't? They're not even going to go there. Did you guys discuss that about?
Did we discuss what?
Just splitting up back into four different communities or not? Or is that not even for discussion?
My guess is the city is going to treat us as one plan, just like they always have.
Yeah, but that's a city. But what would the four of you guys who have been going and meeting together, what do they want to do? Do you guys, do they want to be separate or together, or?
No, well, I think the plan, David Modi is going to propose a standing committee for all 4 communities to meet regularly. And so the subcommittees from each of the 4 communities will be like a liaison between the standing committee back
Okay,
to the subcommittee and then back to this group and then out to the community. But
and I think it'd be a good idea, just for numbers, is to get the population of the 4 communities and then see what the average number of people are in the rest of the 40 planning groups and see how that compares. I bet you we're double or triple what anybody else has.
yeah,
We
Um,
are. I did that a long time ago when I was on Eastern
Yeah.
Area Board before. So, and I took it to the city with all the numbers and we easily could be our own group. So, but
Yeah.
it never happened.
No, but they said you had to wait till we did the community update. Back then wasn't that the idea back then was we could discuss it when the community update was happening, and this is the time to do it. Anyways, so if we should come to these meetings with any ideas we have, won't bring them up here. And that's it for me, I guess. Thank you. Thank you
And
very much,
discuss-
Laura.
Yeah, we'll add that to the discussion, Mario.
thanks, Mario.
It'd be good to find out, what the smallest community plan populations are.
I have them all written down somewhere,
and
yeah.
to see how each of our 4 compares to that. I'm pretty sure.
Current populations,
Right.
not
Right.
from 5 years ago.
No, from the census.
2020 census.
Yeah. That's what I would think.
Anybody else have questions?
Oh, maybe we can maybe there's some judge we can find that will put a stop to this until that lawsuit's finished.
Oh, that's one interesting. One thing too, Alex sent out some mapping that has to do with taxes from the tax board. And they show our different areas and whether we're low resource, medium resource, high resource areas based on monetary. I think he sent them out last week. Those kind of go hand in hand with this planning, I think, because one of the big things they're talking about in the city is equity. And so equity comes into our community plans as well. And they've designated college area as a high resource area. And yet, if you look at the maps that maps that Alex sent out, college area isn't a high resource area. In fact, half of college area borderlines on segregated and poverty. So
I think they should use a different word than resource. How about just income?
well, they didn't even mean, they were talking about resource because they were basing it on the trolley being at the as
Oh.
and transportation mode, and then the bus line on El Cajon Boulevard. Mind you, that bus line has one bus going down it, and it goes east to west. Now, it does hook up with some buses that go in other areas, but it's not like you can, if you're going downtown, that bus line and that trolley are maybe a good resource. But if you're trying to get anywhere else in the city, say University Town Center area, Mira Mesa area, all the way up to Rancho Bernardo, you are taking 2 to 3 hours one way to get to work. And that would mean 2 to 3 hours coming home. And that's a huge burden on people. And when that and those transportation uses were also considered for the new circles that allow developers to go way in, thinking, oh yeah, it's okay if somebody has to walk a mile to catch a bus and then take the bus for 3 hours to get to work.
Yeah.
I mean, look at how long somebody's day is, and that's not very equitable.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to consider, guys, a lot.
Yeah.
And it all
On
kind of
that su-
intertwines.
Yeah. I think we need to go back to the, what we were doing 10 years ago is still fight for people to redevelop the boulevards where the transit is. When there are more restaurants and there are more shops and there are more people living on the boulevard, then people might park might live a half a mile away and walk. But until there is something to the boulevard that they're going to get to, they're not going to leave their car at home. They're going to
Well,
drive someplace.
One
It's
thing
just
our
the stupid
neighborhood,
people downtown.
one thing that we discussed at the subcommittee meeting was our neighborhood needs to find employment sources. We are, based on, all of the grand plan of the city of San Diego for all its neighborhoods and all its districts, we're supposed to be able to be economically viable areas. And so we need less housing and more business opportunities.
Yeah.
So when we think about what to put on the boulevard, we might be considering office buildings or places that would employ people, not just your restaurant jobs, not just your, little shops that are right.
That would be good.
But places that are actually employment centers. So that's another thing for us to think about for our neighborhood. So we can actually have employment. People can live here, work here, and play here and not have to go forever to get to work. So lot of planning to do. So we really need everybody's help in coming up with a great plan.
That handout that you have there in the meeting, can you send those out to everybody so we can see what you guys are looking at?
Yep, I'll scan it and then I'll give it to Lynn.
And I'll email
Right.
it out.
Okay.
Most of it's already in the email you sent us from the community.
I know they're pages from stuff I already sent out,
Okay.
but it's a few pages, so it won't be hard to scan and get out to you.
Okay.
Alex, did you have a comment?
Yeah, I did.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
wrap
gonna,
this up.
yeah, I'm gonna try to share my screen here. Oh, can you let me share my screen?
Maybe, sure,
Lynn?
maybe. There you go. Okay.
Okay, great. Yep, I pushed the wrong button. Hang on. There we go. So here's a map of the eastern area, and we should think about how we want to do this. I'm on the subcommittee. Here's El Cajon Boulevard, and I don't think we want all the development here. This is a huge area that we have. And so I would encourage you all to think, particularly those of you in Webster and Oak Park and elsewhere, this is University here. Right? Here's 54th. These are also major transportation corridors that people should think about developing if there's some interest there. This is the road that goes around Choice Lake here. It's, you know, pretty open over here. You have the shopping center. And then, of course, down at 54th, this is Federal, and it goes up. And then the 94. So all of these areas could be places that residents, and these are the canyons, right?
Lots of places.
Are places that residents might think, and you might think about, you know, talking to people in your area, you know, do they want more housing and businesses here rather than just shove everything to the very northernmost tier of the eastern area? So I would encourage everyone here to do that.
I agree with you, Alex. I said boulevards. I didn't mean just Elkhorn Boulevard. I meant all of them.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure because people
Which
talk
is-
about the boulevard.
But
and
you're
that
making
tends-
it very clear. You're making it real clear, which is good.
Yeah. Because again, you know, you would like things spread on the other, and here's of course is college, right? I mean, so there's plenty of areas for us to think about where we would like development to be. The city is pushing a lot up here, and I think we need to, you know, not just, you know, prioritize that area, but help the folks down in the more southern areas of the eastern area too. So.
And leave the map up. Can I say? Let me say
Sure.
something for Laura. When you guys are talking to the other group, Mid City and those guys, this is possible. We don't have much say in anything.
We can't hear you, Mario.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Am I? Okay.
That's better.
Is this better? Okay.
Yes.
I know we don't have much say about things anymore, but we should have some input. But the boundaries of these different areas are usually Elkhorn Boulevard or 50, all the main streets. And people in college vote on the north side and we vote on the south side, which is well and good for most things. But I think things that happen on the boulevard itself should be, I think both sides of the street should have some say in it. I don't know if that's some language you can put into our agreements, but it's just something to think about. Because whatever you put on a boulevard is going to affect both sides of the street. And that's one thing. And then also for resources, there shouldn't be any trolley because we don't have any trolley going through our area. It's the bus on Elkhorn Boulevard.
Right.
Yeah, no, the trolley's up here. I mean, it's not even
Yeah,
on this
way up
map,
there.
right? Well,
No.
maybe this is the trolley right here.
Well,
Yeah,
the orange
and
line actually is down.
Way down there,
Yeah,
Yeah, there's a trolley down here, right? Right
Right.
across,
way here, way down there.
Yeah.
South of,
right south of the 94, right about here somewhere.
but 54th Street has a bus that takes people from the
Yeah.
northern trolley to the, which is the green line, to the orange line, which is the southern trolley. So
Right.
it is considered a main transportation route. 54th Street is.
Yeah.
With the 955 bus.
But again,
We've
yeah,
got
I
a
just
lot
encourage.
we're starting at a good time. We're gonna have a good chance to get a good group of people together. And I think we can come with a good plan. Thank you, Alex, for that map. You showed that to us at our subcommittee meeting. It's a great map. Because
Yeah.
it does
Well,
show
and
those
if you-
main roads.
Yeah, and people like, I haven't sent that map out from the California treasurer that shows the high and low and very high resource areas to the whole Eastern Area Planning Group. But if you're all interested, I can send you the URL and it links you directly to the state treasurer site. You can click on the map and it's completely expandable. And you can go down into every city in California, including San Diego. And for instance, where I live, El Cerrito Heights is actually considered a low resource area, and I'm just south of the boulevard. So again, the city is often talking about trying to put a lot of the new building in high resource areas, and they keep talking about them as if, you know, the areas of the eastern area and college area are all high resource, and they're actually not, at least not as defined by the state of California, which I think is what the city goes by. So in some ways, it's a bit of a shell game, you know.
yeah,
or-
probably anything
or
within
they call
5
it
miles is
or
considered a resource.
gaslighting, right? Another way. of
Well,
putting it.
isn't that what, I mean, Jan's presentation or public comment tonight really showed that very clearly, I
That's
think.
right. Yeah. anyway, so I can either send it out to y'all or give it to Lynn and she can send it out
Yeah,
if
why
you're
don't
if you're
you-
interested.
I actually still have the link, Alex.
Okay.
I think. So when I get a package from Laura to send out, I'll include that link for everyone.
Yeah, that'd be helpful because that way you can at least see what we're, and it covers all of San Diego.
Sure.
The high resource areas actually begin north of the 8
Right.
Of course,
for the most part.
This is a.
not a
There are a
surprise.
few in the west, of course, as well.
Yeah.
But
I consider UCSD, SDSU is a high resource,
Yeah.
as a resource to the community.
yeah,
Okay.
potentially,
All right.
huh?
Thanks, everyone. Again, just an initial way to start thinking about how we want to communicate in our own communities and transmit that information back and forth.
Well, and get people to come to our subcommittee meetings.
Come to the subcommittee meetings, but also, we should be sharing this at community council meetings regularly to try and get feedback
They're
and
gonna,
information to the communities.
they're gonna be the fourth Wednesday here in one of the smaller rooms.
Not last Wednesday, but fourth Wednesday?
Yeah.
Fourth Wednesday. No, fourth.
Fourth Wednesday, I think it's the 26th.
Yeah, it's too confusing when you say last. It's turned out, so we'll just say fourth.
Okay.
Fourth Wednesday.
Yep.
At the Teen Center
Yes,
Teen Challenge,
in the evening, like 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
7.
All right.
Okay.
Wednesday, the 26th.
Okay.
And get the word out. I mean, you might have somebody sitting in your neighborhood that not been interested in really getting involved in something who would be delighted in this. So let's get the word out. That would be great.
Everybody.
Yep. Okay.
And we want to protect everybody's community and help
Yeah.
everybody's community and thrive out of this plan. So,
Yeah, no, people might be very engaged since it actually affects where you live, right?
yeah.
So,
Well, I think some of us are going to find south of University that we really can't offer much for the next year until we see the master plan for Choyas Creek. Because how that's going to flow and what the city designs for that is going to impact the way we want to see our major corridors look.
Right.
I mean, you don't want maximum impact where they're actually trying to preserve
The creek
or, yeah, exactly.
and protect.
So that's the kind of thing, the information we need to take to communities and bring back and make sure that we address that. Yep.
Hey, Lynn, can we, does this committee still have a budget from the city? Because what I'm wondering is, can we pay for like a newspaper ad either in the UT or in our local community, if there's smaller community papers, just saying, hey, we're beginning the community plan update process and our subcommittee meetings are on such and such date, and
We could
just try
put
to
it
get the
on,
word out.
yeah, we can put it on the agenda to talk about and get a budget if that's something we want to
So
do.
we can put it on Facebook and Nextdoor.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, next door. All the next doors would be good.
Work with the schools. They give free, work with the principal, don't work with normal, work with the school principal. Reserve your rooms at the school,
We're gonna work here though.
yeah,
right up here, but I mean, in the communities.
we already
Then
meet
each
at the
community
school.
council is gonna have to meet somewhere to discuss it that way and then bring the whole thing here.
Mhm.
We've
No,
done that in the
No,
past.
we're gonna go ahead and make this a subcommittee for the plan. And they can certainly, talk about it at their separate meetings and stuff, but
yeah,
the main
Announce where
points.
the meetings are held.
Right.
that's
Our
right.
community council.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we'll put it on the agenda
In
and discuss next
the other
month.
plan for
Okay.
the-
Thank you, Lynn.
the council itself. Park minutes.
And that'd be how we want, if we want to spend some money or what our sources, how to get the word out using social media and whether we need, what else we need to do.
Yeah, I was thinking flyering door to door, but that takes a lot of energy.
Oh,
so
no.
not good.
It's also, we don't have that kind of budget. Okay. Flyers cost a lot of money. Okay, so let's move on. We're not going to have a treasurer's report tonight. We're not going to review and approve any minutes tonight. We'll do that next month. So we're at subcommittee reports and community updates. It's getting late. Let's keep it pretty brief if we can. El Cerrito, Anyone have any updates for El Cerrito?
Last month, we,
Well, what do we do? Oh, Dana talked, and she gave that great presentation. It's on our website, right?
you're right.
Yeah, it was really good.
Okay.
Yeah, Dana, who is a person in El Cerrito, who is very active, very smart, very involved. She's actually one of the founding members of Neighbors for a Better San Diego. Compiled all the information to date on all the different planning things that have come together, like SB 9, SB 10, the CPA, the SDA, the TPA, everything, how they all can conglomerate together and the impacts in a community. She did a great job. We have a link to her presentation on our website. So I invite you all to go there, and it's about an hour long, but it goes really fast and you learn a lot because there's so much going on with the development. Oh, ADUs is included. There's so much going on with development that's passed in the last year and a half. And she did a great presentation. Really did a good job.
Okay. Thank
Lynn,
you.
I'm looking for it right now. Can I send you the link, or would you rather I send it to you by email?
Email it to me, please. We
Okay.
don't have chat on, Lorna,
Okay.
so I couldn't send it out tonight anyway.
Okay.
Okay, El Cerrito, Oak Park, Richard? Anything?
No, if Alita's still here, I'll let Alita talk. Is she still here?
Yeah,
Hi,
I'm still
Alita.
here.
Yeah, go ahead, Alita.
We're moving along with the new Oak Park Library plan. The RFP should be hopefully completed by June and hopefully sent out. We are presently revising our wish list. It looks really, really great. And Richard did a great job in categorizing some of the whole wish list so that we have a knowledge as to what we need, what will be a part of that will always be needed. Again, it's a very exciting, and we're all have little subcommittees. We also have programs coming up in May. We have a lady, one of the gospel singers, that is going to be performing at the library. I can send the flyer to you, Lynn, so it can be all sent out to everybody.
Okay.
And of course, we're also looking for $11 million because the cost has gone up.
Hey, I've got to check.
So what else
Played the
is new?
lottery
But
today.
you know what? We have confidence that everybody's helping out. So that's a good thing. And if you know anyone who has a couple of $1 million in their pocket, be sure and let me know.
Sure.
And I will surely reach out to them. But really, it's been a great opportunity and a great learning experience for all of us. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Alita.
I just want to add too, Lynn, that, and Andy will back me up on this, $12 million, right, Andy?
Yeah.
The what?
12
12
million.
million.
Yeah, it's not 11, right?
Darn.
Oh,
One more
and
trip.
also, thank you, Bruce and Council Member Pro Tem Montgomery for supporting us in getting Ms. Claudia to be recognized, and also for having Ms. Blevins on our commission, our library commission. So that's wonderful things happening for Oak Park.
Okay. Thank you, Alita. Kristen, anything for Webster?
We have an event planned for June 10th at Webster Elementary. Everybody is welcome to come from the Troyes neighborhoods area. It is a climate safe neighborhoods event. So we're right now in the process of getting different vendors to come and talk about ways to be able to save electricity, have water-wise front yards. There's gonna be some EV cars that are there. So just kind of a way, to be a more energy efficient neighborhood.
Do you have a flyer for it or anything?
I am in the process of making it
Okay.
right now.
Can you
Once
send the
it-
electric,
Yeah.
electronic version, digital file, and I'll send it out. Let's start.
And also let me know if you need to have, I may be able to bring you some children's books to give away.
Okay, are they connected to climate or anything?
Well, I can look at the books and see what we have.
Okay, perfect.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
thanks, Kristen. Jennifer, Redwood Village.
Village, not much, except that we're excited to hear next month from the city about Stringy Drive.
Yes.
We were all under the impression that they would be coming to us and to Oak Park first. April mentioned
Yes,
at 90% of the plan. So it was quite a surprise to hear that they're coming.
yeah,
the
I'm
Eastern area
equally
first.
surprised that the email came to us first, because I saw that he CC'd you and Richard on it, and I just found it peculiar. I keep trying to direct people to go back to the community first, and I think it might be a directive from the city to come to the planning groups.
There is.
Tell them to go back to the.
And I do, but if it involves more than one community, then I think it makes, yeah, when you're talking about more than one community, I think that they probably have to come here though.
Eventually they'll come here.
Yeah. So we'll get a good turnout, so
Yeah, that'd be good.
Village and Oak.
thanks, Chris. Thanks, Jennifer. I had a note from Bob, who's out of town for work. He said for his Rolando update, they're going to hold their 10th annual catwalk cleanup this Saturday from 9 to noon. Mario, that means you.
Thank you.
We are meeting at Alamo and Toledo Drives. Anyone interested should bring their own hand tools, hat, sunscreen, and water bottle. That's it. From there.
I can add
Rolando?
something to that.
Okay.
The Rolando Street Fair seemed to be very successful. There were many people in the morning, kind of thinned out when it drizzled a little bit in the afternoon. And there's a lot of interesting music. Not my taste in music, but people seemed to like it. But it was very successful, it looked like from our point of view.
Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. From Rolando Park, I just wanted to mention that on Earth Day, April 22nd, we're partnering with I Love a Clean San Diego for a cleanup of Xena Canyon. We do this every year. So if you want to come out and clean up a canyon, be sure and drop by. You can register online at the creektobay.org site. Last year we had more than 50 people. I think we'll have at least that many people again this year. Last year we had a whole fraternity from San Diego State show up and lend a hand. So that's all I have for community updates. Bob isn't here to talk about University Avenue. I know you had a question about the trees at the Kroc Center, Danielle.
Yeah.
Very quickly, I just want to say that they sent a letter out to members telling them that they plan to remove 50 trees in front of the ice rink to put more solar panels in the parking lot. Lucky for us, because the membership at the Kroc Center is so diverse, they happen to have 3 certified tree arborists who are members there, who got together with Ann Faggy from the Citizens Forestry Board. They put together an incredible video, went to management and presented and explained to them why this was going to be a really bad idea. Plus, they did start to hear from some of the communities around there that this was going to be a really bad idea. And so they have backed off for now. It's on hold. They're looking at what their alternatives are. The reason that Bob and I know about it is because someone approached us, and we actually did just push back and say that isn't something we can attend. We actually will have to take this to our respective community councils in the planning group and ask for support from them. And they did it all on their own. So that's where it stands now.
And I-
We did say that it was a terrible role model because we've actually been telling people that University Avenue from 54th to the Kroc Center should look like the front of the Kroc Center does. And to take down 50 trees was just a tragedy. So anyway,
Let's
that's,
let Murphy know the update that they've backed off for now.
yes,
Okay, great.
yeah,
Thank
I
you.
think she knows. I heard that.
Lynn?
Yes,
I happened to talk to the lady in charge down there today. I was
Clarissa?
at the Kroc Center. Yeah, Clarissa.
uh-huh.
She said pretty much what you just said, but without all the details. She said, we've talked to the arborists out of there, we were put together, whatever. But right now it's up in the air. They got it out for proposals. They're looking at different things to do. They want solar panels, but they're not sure. And I also asked about the garage. And that sounds like it's way off in the distance. They might have to get new permits. There's no money to build that right now. So they got to
you
do
mean
some fundraising.
Yeah, phase
They're putting
2.
the field on. Yeah, they got to do some fundraising before they can do that. So
Yeah,
there's not much going to be happening. And I don't think even if they're going to take any trees along the sidewalk, because that's the wrong side of the solar panels.
no, it's all in the parking lot, but it's
Yeah.
still 50 trees. And I'm sympathetic because their utility bill is $1 million a year.
Mhm.
It takes a lot of power to keep that ice cold. But
Well, they still got a lot of roofs there.
Put the solar panels on top of the new parking garage.
yeah,
Well,
so
they're not going to build the garage.
no,
That's
not for now.
way down the line. But there's still lots of rooftops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Except for that might provide a little glare to the people on the
If
hill.
Does anybody know if the southern hillside south of the drainage ditch is property or city property?
South of,
The drainage ditch?
You know, the covered drainage ditch on our south border, and then the hillside to that up to the neighbors? Is that a
Talking
hillside
about the really,
or Kroc
you talking
property?
about, you talking about Choice Creek itself, or are you talking about some
Yeah.
ditch in the back?
No, she's
Yeah.
talking about Choice Creek,
Choice
Which
Creek
is-
is a city,
which is covered
city,
there.
it's covered with, it's a city creek.
Right.
It's a city, if it's not owned by the city, it's an easement the city has through the property.
Okay, and I'm talking about the hillside south of the covered storm drain.
Right.
Okay, you're not talking about Choice Creek, you're talking about a drainage ditch somewhere.
I'm
That
talking
could be
about the
anybody's.
hillside. The hillside
about the
from
hill-
the drainage ditch up to the neighbors'
The hill.
backyards.
The hill.
The
You wanna know who
southern-
owns the hill?
Yeah,
Oh.
who owns the hill? Somebody let us
Probably the
know.
homeowner, probably the homeowners, but I'm not sure. You have to look at that.
yeah.
I could
We
check
could
it out.
probably figure it out. That's okay. Let's let's look at it next month when Bob comes back.
Yeah.
Okay. Danielle, Parks and Recreation.
So this time I'll start with Little League. We did have a very small tournament over the Easter weekend just recently. It was called the Cactus Tournament. I haven't heard of the results, but I do know that we actually held the tournament. Over at Colina, the last one we talked about the Triangle State Park that's on the south side of Federal. Proposed by the Choice League Coalition. Vicki Estrada gave us a presentation and we gave a little bit of feedback to her. As to Clay Park, we're gonna have to fix our minutes next time, Mr. Secretary, because the statement you have in our minutes is not quite, I don't think it was what I said, but maybe you misheard. If you go on the city websites where they've just updated and given you all the GDPs for all the parks in the whole city, there is a little red area, and I'll hold it up to the camera in a minute. Where you can see it does list a dog off leash. And what the concern was is there were a few neighbors nearby that were whispering about a lawsuit, and so that's why the city backed off. It was approved 5 years ago in 2018 in April. Actually, this month in 2018, the Park and Rec Board did approve the GDP plan amendment. And then recently, Colina did approve the last of the settlement money to be used for the dog park. And then some neighbors found out and they decided that they wanted to go straight to the city to say, we might file a lawsuit against it. So now we are going to talk to, we being Denise, I, and Doug Lister of RCC on Thursday to the director to find out what the neighbors said and how strong their case that possibly could be. And then some possibilities as to what we can do to maybe find an alternative spot. My idea, and this is the first time I publicly said it, I did tell it to Lynn, is to switch the tot lot, because we have the $4 million coming up for an upgrade of Play Park, to switch that over to where it's now an active use area and put the dog park where the tot lot is right now. But we shall see what the city decides if that's feasible or not on Thursday. And then lastly, over at Choice Lake, we did have some good news finally about one of the storm drains over at Choice Lake. The storm drain people were able to find the covered up drain in the day camp area. And so we always have that mini lake when we have lots of rain over the winter. In the day camp area is finally drained. And speaking of day camp, the registration coming for these 4 to 5 weeks of summer day camp will be opening soon. And as soon as I know it, I will pass it along so that you can pass it along to all your community councils. So that's what I have. And then where's the camera? Please, Lynn?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Right there.
so let's see if this works. You can see the red rectangular section up in the top of the right-hand corner of the page. It is an approved dog park, but
Oh, down there.
Yeah.
Oh,
so whenever there's a whip saying, "Oh, we're going to sue the city because you guys didn't tell us," so he kind of backs off.
Thank you. Richard, did you have a question?
Yeah, a quick one for Danielle. Danielle, when they gave when Choice Creek Coalition gave the presentation to Community del Sol, you said that there was some feedback, and it sounded like it was negative feedback from the.
No negative. I didn't say the word negative.
You implied that it was negative by the tone of your voice.
My personal feedback was we need a potty there. If you're going to have a pit stop and you're going to call it a pit stop for the walkers and the bicyclists, you need to make it an official pit stop and have just a little 1-room unisex bathroom. There on site.
Yeah, they put in a vault. They can put in a vault and have it pumped out regularly. That's what they do in the county.
We're in the street. It's a very simple little connection.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, I was just kind of curious.
No, no negative. We loved everything. We just added a few things that we wanted.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Alita?
Yeah, and just one more thing, Danielle, and everyone, Oak Park was able to get 60 banners and included Choice Lake logo, and rangers were so wonderful in helping get some of the walkers and runners to take pictures. So you're gonna see pictures of different people at Choice Lake, and the banner should be coming probably in May.
End of May. We're on the same banner program, so yeah, end of May.
So the banners are at the lake. Alita, where are these banners going, please?
We have 60 banners throughout Oak Park.
On light poles?
Yeah.
Yes, street poles. They're banner
Street poles.
districts, city banner district. Yep,
Kind of like when you do the San Diego County Fair thing.
that is a county fair.
That is the county fair.
Oh, it is the county fair.
Yeah, and we got them for free. So yay, we were able to get both Choice Lake logo and the Oak Park logo. Yay.
Wonderful,
Yes.
nice perspective. The ranger did not announce that last time. Maybe we'll hear it this month. And then next month I will have some more details for you, because we are going to have a Juneteenth celebration up at Glorious Mesa, but we don't have flyers or details yet.
Okay, well, let me know so we
Yeah.
can work together. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Mario, did you have any quick updates about transportation or bike lanes? 1
they're
minute.
still working on it. They're still working on it. Couldn't get any definite information from them as far as how it's going. It's just it's getting more expensive, and they're spending money like crazy. But I did see Sandag authorize another $100 and something million for different kinds of alternative transportation routes, sidewalks, paths throughout the whole county. But no, nothing. They're still working on it though. It's going to happen.
Were you at last month's meeting? Because we had an update about the water mains that are being replaced on University Avenue at the
Yeah,
end of the
I
summer.
wasn't there, but I was gonna ask you about it.
Okay,
Yes.
so
Did
just
you
real
ask them if they're gonna,
quick, yeah, we did ask about if they've been talking with Sandig, and the bike lanes should start in early 2024. That's
24? And
Yeah.
when will the water
Water main
stuff
done?
be done?
it starts in August, should last about 6 months.
So,
From
okay,
College to
so,
Aragon.
so if it works right, they should come in right after they're done with that then,
Exactly.
possibly.
Yeah,
And
there's
Let's just a 2-year delay for something.
that could happen. Okay, thank you.
I got a question real quick. Is this format with the camera in the room you gonna keep doing this for a while? Zoom
Probably.
meetings?
I bought a new camera and it was damaged, so I had to return it. I'll have it next month. It has a
But
little
the-
bit better
This
Zoom
isn't bad.
feature on it.
Yeah, this is good.
And the way it works is but the board and me all got to be in the room, not on Zoom.
Correct. That's
Okay.
Dems the rules.
Them's the rules. Okay,
from the city. Okay, thanks.
very good.
No emergency.
Yeah. Laura, any more about the subcommittee
The CPC?
and the CPC? I think we
Oh,
covered everything on
We
the
covered the subcommittee, yeah.
So let's CPC.
CPC real quick, they, a subcommittee's being formed to look at the new CPC regulations. One of the things that is coming up is that the city's trying to get all sorts of different people from all sorts of different areas involved. And one of the things that is going to be important is that people who do join our community planning groups are dedicated enough to learn planning regulations like we all have to do in the cow and training, and stick around long enough to be part of the planning group. A lot of times in the past, I guess, planning groups have had people say they're interested, but they are one topic driven. They come in for a very brief period of time, never really learn anything, and then they're gone very quickly. So there's a little concern that that might be a repeat to some of the new push. But one of the things that we're going to really being pushed is that people are going to have to understand planning, just like we've all had to learn so much. And we know it's kind of a long learning curve. So that came up. So the subcommittee is going to be working on some of the stuff we want to see. There's the planning department is working on new stuff as we speak. And they have, for the next 2 years, they're going to have programs on something called Equity Forward. I think you sent out an email earlier today that it had these topics. Equity Forward. There's going to be a Choice Creek watershed master plan in the works. And I think we need to make sure we get all the parts of our Choice Creek up, like through our whole neighborhood included in that. There's going to be a parks needs assessment. And then they're doing the inclusive public engagement. And these things that we were told they were going to be taking place over the next 2 years. I don't know if what you sent out today includes the timeline for all of them, but the inclusive public engagement's already started. There's going to be a kind of like a steering committee. I think the woman who is the head of the CPCs is going to be on that. And I don't know who else is going to be. But it sounded like they want a few people, not a huge mass of people, to kind of be involved in that. So that's all coming forward.
I have a question, Laura. When are elections at CPC? Are they every year, every 2 years? How long is this meeting?
There is a subcommittee that there's some women that are working on getting candidates for elections. Yes, they're coming up. I don't know that they're in that next month, but they might be the month after.
They're yearly elections.
Yeah, they're yearly.
Okay, so they're not like every 2 years.
No, they're yearly.
So they serve every 2 years though, right?
Uh,
Like they do here. Opposite. Half of them go 1 year and the other half.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The elections are staggered.
Not that you get all.
No, I think everybody's up every year.
They are?
Yep. Because some people term out and different things have to all be considered. Pretty sure the elections are every year.
I know that.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks.
that's it.
Thanks very much. I think that actually came from Andrea. I saw it today.
Yeah.
Came into the other email address. So I'll send that out everyone tomorrow.
And they said a 2-year time frame, but then they talked about how quickly the one was coming up. So some of them are going to have different timelines than others.
Mario's got his hand up again.
Yes, Mario?
Real quick one, Laura, on your, the subcommittee you're talking about for the future planning groups. I keep hearing people, the loud vocal people who want all these changes. They want all these young renters, da, 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 da. But then they want us to find these people. And I think they got to make it clear that these people that are making all this noise, that we need people who are going to be committed to staying. Tell them they're the ones who making all the noise. They're the ones complaining. They're the young college students who are here for 2 years and then they leave town, who want to have some say in this, who are causing all these issues, and make sure that's clear to them that they need to stick around and learn all this planning stuff. I don't know how the committee can do that, but put that in there, so make a suggestion or something that they can make sure that the city and these groups, maybe they can help us find these people that they want us to put on the boards. Because it's not easy to find people who want to do that, who don't own a house.
You're right on all your points, and I know that the subcommittee's probably taking all that into consideration because and the reason that the people who are on planning groups is because they've got it's a priority to them and they've made time, or they have time where other people are busy raising their kids, or like you said, they're going to school and studying, and it does take a huge chunk of dedication. So that's one of the things I think that they're going to be sure to include is the consideration for anybody who wants to be on such a board.
Yeah, great.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mario. It is a challenge.
Yeah, they do.
Okay, well,
I have
Since
one
we-
more question.
Sure.
We have a very recent update from Teen Challenge on their CUP.
Yeah, I was wondering.
no,
No, all we know is that the city told them they have to do the fire lane and they've agreed to all that, but we don't have a final decision yet.
no, we do not.
And it had a long time frame in it, like a month that it could happen, right?
It's really long, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So. All right, we don't have a quorum, but assume I don't need a motion or a second. So as chair, I'm saying this meeting is adjourned. Thank you. Thanks,
night.
Adele. Thank you for online.
Bye.
You all gotta come back.
Well, what I wanted.
Y'all come back soon.
Y'all come back now. Thank you.
Bulk container drop off the other day. We had one in El Cerrito.